I'm an empath. How many of you out there are empaths? Raise your hand. People say that they wish they weren't an empath and that they hate being an empath. I think once you figure out how to use it, it's one of the best abilities. Let us know if you're an empath. Share this out because I know there are many empaths out there. All right, so empaths are basically emotional sponges, and we tend to absorb not only the energy of other people, but we can absorb energy of the environment around us, locations. We can feel other people's anxiety, stress, and ailments, even their joy. I'm okay with that. I love being around like happy people because I tend to absorb it, and that's all good for me. But when I'm around somebody who has a lot of anxiety or stress, and I'm not talking about like the natural type of stress, but I'm talking about somebody that always constantly has something, I can get drained when I'm around them. So basically, empaths, we're just emotional sponges, short and sweet. That's exactly what we are. Most of us share a degree of like empathy for people. You know, we don't want anyone to feel bad. We don't want anyone to be in pain or sad or anything like that. So I would hope that majority of people have empathy. But to be an empath is so totally different. We take on things as if they were ours, and they're not. Sometimes, especially if you're not aware that you're an empath, you may not know the difference between what's yours and what's not. In fact, you might be someone who has so much anxiety and you go to a doctor, you're probably on prescription or something like that. I'm just talking about myself. And then it turns out you're an empath. And, you know, most of the stuff that you think you're feeling may not actually belong to you. I definitely believe in medicine. If you need it, please go to your doctor and find out, you know, if there's anything that can be done. But this is separate. I know I have my own issues. I have issues, but I have my empathic issues as well. Believe it or not, because it seems like almost everybody in the spiritual community is an empath. Like you see, like, right, you're reaching out to these people, you're hanging out with these people, and it seems like, oh, I'm an empath. 20% of the population actually are empaths. So it makes sense. So a lot of you will probably relate to a lot of the things that we're going to talk about. But I want to talk about the different types of empaths before we kind of break it down into signs that you might be an empath. So we have emotional empaths, and I'm probably all of the above. So just to put that out there. We have physical and medical empaths. We have the intuitive empath. Geomantic empath, we have plant empath, we have the earth empath, we have the animal empath. And honestly, I think I am autism, which is probably why I was diagnosed with hyperventilation syndrome. How you can make something stop is if you call it out. So if you're in the grocery store and you have a pain or something like that, and you know that it's not yours, and you kind of find the source of it, and you say it to yourself, this is not mine, I think it belongs to whoever, you'll notice it goes away. And so that's definitely something to keep in mind, but we will get into that. So I just wanted to let you know that there are different types of empaths. You have those who can really feel what an animal is going through. And I'm not talking about pet communicators or animal communicators, but I'm talking about really feeling, and most pet communicators probably are empaths, but you know what an animal is going through. You might even feel their pain. Physical, medical, I am, so I will feel somebody's pain. When I'm doing healings, I will feel in my own body what's going on with somebody. If they're feeling dizzy when I'm doing healings, I will feel dizzy and off balance. So I know exactly what's going on with people. Emotional, I know when someone, even if they look straight faced, I know when someone is going through something, and I can just feel it in my heart and in my soul. I'm sure the emotional one is probably, I would say emotional and physical are probably the big ones for a lot of people. Even feeling when the earth, something is off with the earth. And I have to say that even though the world was going through this whole pandemic, there was a part of me that felt a healing, because when we all first had that lockdown and you saw animals coming out and animals that were becoming extinct were now repopulating, and just things were just feeling like they were healing in the earth. And that to me made me feel good, even though like I was scared out of my mind with the pandemic. So those are the types of impacts. Okay. So we're going to go into some of the top signs that you may be an empath. Let me know if this resonates with any of you and put it down in the comments. Number one, and I had to write them down because there are a lot. If you're an introvert or you're shy or you feel like you need to have a lot of alone time. I mean, not just the regular me time, but I mean like you really need to like unwind and have that alone time in order to kind of regroup. See, this used to be a cause of arguments for me because I didn't understand it. So I was always told that I shut myself off, that I'm always shutting myself in the bedroom or something like that. And to me, it just felt needed. Yes, you can blame it on junk TV or watching soaps years ago, back when there was a soap net. But like there was something about being alone, especially after work. Number two, you're overly sensitive to chaos. And I'm talking about things on TV like, unfortunately, shooting, wars, even movies, even though you know they're actors, but movies. And then obviously real life. That's definitely me. I mean, I know they're actors, but if I see somebody get killed in a movie and they know it's coming, instead of my dumbass saying, oh, they're actors, they're really alive, and my brain starts saying, I wonder what he thought before it happened to him. Or, you know what I mean? Like I don't know why I do it. I just do. And then obviously anything on the news, it just hurts my heart. It hurts everyone's heart when, you know, there's senseless killings, but it's so much more than that. It's feeling so sad for the people who passed, their families, but also taking it a step further and saying, what could we have done for the person who did the killings? You know, like what happened to them that caused them to do these type of things, especially a younger person. For me, I start thinking, God, like I know I shouldn't feel this way, but I feel bad for them because their whole life is ruined because they made this horrible, horrible mistake. But did they make that mistake because they were led astray? I start thinking all these things, and then I just get sad, and I feel bad for everything and everyone. And then I just start, why does the world have to have hatred? And if they do, why can't they just say, okay, we have difference of opinions and keep it moving? You know. And years ago, I used to be able to watch surgery shows. I could see people getting cut open, blood squirt, no problems. Now I'm like, on soaps and shows like that. Oh my God. And they're just actors. And I used to make fun of my mom. She would sit there and watch the soaps. Yes, I'm telling on her. And I would just turn around and her face would just scrunch up and she'd have this ugly cry. And I'm like, God, you know, they're just acting. Like, what the hell? Now that's me. So overly sensitive. And I'm like, no, I'm not crying. Moving on. One of these numbers. You don't like being in crowds. I hate being in crowds. Social anxiety so bad that even like knowing that I'm going to the mall because I have to pick something up at the store, I get anxiety. I used to, thankfully I don't get sick anymore, but I used to get like sick every single time that I had to go to the mall or go to the store. And I didn't understand why. I just thought I had IBS. Which is a real thing, people. So if you're supposed to see a doctor, but I found out that I was picking up on the collective energy of all the people that were there. And I was picking up energy on specific people that had issues going on. and the location. If you don't like being in crowds, it could be because you're picking up on the location, you're picking up on all of the people all together at once, or individuals there that are going through something. So that's a big one. That's probably, I'm going to say that's probably the number one. I think that's the number one sign, because when you finally get to these places, do you ever realize how drained you are? It almost feels like you've been there like all day working, and you probably just walked around, went to a couple of stores, got food or whatever, and it's like, I can't deal. And it could be the reason why you're an introvert. I am definitely an introvert. I'm shy until I get to know somebody, then I'm just absolutely insane. I feel like hairstylists should be kind of part of the healing profession. I know that sounds weird, but they're almost like a mini therapist. They talk about any and everything. You're touching somebody, you're in their auric field. If you're sensitive, you are feeling everything all up in that aura. Some of these things that we're talking about could be because you're just an introvert, but here's how you may know that you are an empath. It's not just having these things separately. It's having majority of these things. So it's not just, oh, okay, I have one of these signs, I'm an empath. No, having majority of these, if not all of them, pretty much a safe bet that you're an empath. So let's move on. If you are an empath, your primary or secondary, or some people have two primaries, I do, will be clairsentient. So if you know what clairsentience is, it's clear feeling. So you can sense and feel, it makes sense, right? You can sense and feel things from people, places, and things. So your main psychic ability would be clairsentience. So that's another sign that you're probably an empath. Have you ever had a situation where you were engaging with somebody and they were being charming, they were smiling, everything was great, and you just sit there and say, what's wrong? What are you talking about? I'm fine. I'm laughing. Something is wrong because I can feel it in every part of my body, my aura, tapped into your aura, and I can feel it. Feel something without them giving any signs. No visual signs on their face, them saying anything. Are you picking up on stuff that is not obvious? When you know you've been using your psychic abilities, you know the difference. This information is not coming because you know this person so much and you just know their mannerisms. You get a vision or something like that, or you just get a knowing that something is wrong. And it's not written on the person's face. It's not, slamming stuff. You should never force somebody to spill their guts. If they say, nothing's wrong with me, you say, I know something's wrong with you. If you want to talk, I'm here. If you don't want to talk, that's fine. Leave it at that. Do not push yourself, your abilities or anything on people. Don't try to use your abilities to tap in and figure it out. Leave it alone. So the next one was going to be you have a deep sense of knowing and can sense the thought of others. Kind of ties it in. You can kind of tell when someone, they have something heavy on their mind or there's a decision that's going on or whatever. And if you are intuitive, and I'm going to guess that most of you are, your gut tells you something. Your gut tells you don't go down the street. Like that type of thing. You just know that you shouldn't do something. And if you're like me, you do it anyway, and you're like, damn it. So your gut tells you that something is off with this person. And so that's a way. Oh, okay. Having a deep sense of somebody else's thoughts. Also being an effective listener. Now, sometimes this gets me in trouble because someone is telling me a story and I am such a great listener that my psychic abilities start actually seeing what they're talking about. So I'm seeing images of where they were, what happened to them. And I am so into the story. I'm watching a movie right now. Like I am all in it. But that's why a lot of people tend to come to me and just have like this word vomit of venting. Oh no, but I'm an empath, so I want to help. Where's my cape? Like that's what it is. And I have to say, sit your ass down, Kim. Let it be. Let it be. I can't tell you how many times I'm like, oh, I want to help them. Let me fix this for them. And I'm like, oh, that sucks. Like you just have to just walk away. Now, if they ask you for advice or something like that, then you can be like, yeah, but let it be. Sometimes people just want to talk and release, but that's also going to get you in trouble too. We carry on. You tend to draw people in, including strangers. Have you ever been at like a grocery store or some type of store and you're waiting in a long line and all of a sudden like the stranger starts talking to you and you know way too much of their business? I mean, you may not know everything, but you start hearing things about them didn't really care about. But you're having a good conversation, but you just have this light about you that people are drawn. They know that they can talk to you. I've been in situations where strangers will tell me like things that they're hurting or situations, issues, problems that they're having. And I'm like, oh my God. But you just have that energy and people just have to vent to you. It's a great thing that people feel like they can trust you, even if you're a stranger. So that's wonderful. But again, you don't have to take the person home with you. Just, hear them out. See, the pandemic has helped with that because I'm like, you're too close. You're too close. 6 feet. But that's good too. People feel like they can trust you, but also boundaries. It's kind of hard to give boundaries without being a jerk in public with a stranger, but just keep it short. Don't give them any of your information because the conversation just keeps going on and on. We can do like this badminton back and forth. Put down in the comments if any of this makes sense to you. Are you prone to like illnesses, like constant fatigue and like physical pain? For me, since 2007, for some reason, I have been like sick. There's been like vertigo that I had for like 11 years. No one can figure out what it was. Pains, nausea, dizziness, all this stuff. And then I found out I was an empath and I'm like, holy. Now I still have my issues, but I'm able to separate between what's mine and what's not. So if you can't figure out, now there can be many reasons for why you might have, you're prone to illness or fatigue or something. It could also be if you have paranormal activity in your house, it could be that as well, or it could just be an actual illness. So please, again, disclaimer, this is only for entertainment. You're frequently overwhelmed or anxious and you hate loud sounds. I did give a loud sound before the show, but I was scared the fuck out before the show started by my dog. But so loud sounds and being easily startled. My dog scared the shit out of me so bad that I still have chest pains right now from it. I am overly stimulated by noises. Like they irk me. Okay, so that's me. We will stare your ass down if you are a open mouth chewer. I will stare you down until you realize I'm looking at you. Like we always say this, if you want any type of Oscar or Emmy as an actor, eat food on camera with your mouth wide open. Yes. Okay. And odors. I have the most sensitive nose. Like I love things that smell good, but I can smell a skunk 2 blocks around the corner, all the way down the street and into a different town. I can smell it and it drives me insane before anyone else can smell it. And how many people out there have anxiety when you're talking to somebody who does not shut the f up? I hate it because I want to listen to them and I want to be there. But when they're like, and I'm like, okay, I'll just wait until the next breath. Okay. And then all of a sudden my anxiety level starts. I can't help it, but it's this thing that I can't control. Like I start having anxiety and I almost feel like I'm outside of myself. Does anyone else have that issue? Like I had a class where I was learning a modality and the teacher for some reason went down this rabbit hole and she started talking so much. And I actually had to do, if anyone has anxiety, you know that you have like these pressure points and I'm holding my finger and I'm like, I'm having a panic attack and it's just because something in me. Anyway, you can tell when someone is telling the truth and when they're not. even if you don't know these people. If you know them, then you know when someone, they give signs or something like that. But, something like that. You can walk into the room and you can almost sense like the energy. You know that somebody had an argument in this room or something happened. Even if there's absolutely no sign whatsoever that it happened. Okay, here's one. You tend to carry the burdens of others. So again, you want to fix it. What you are doing is, instead of them just venting to you because you're a good friend or a good listener, you're now taking on their burdens by wanting to rush out and put an S on your chest. You know what I mean? Like, it's not for us. And that saying, like, teach a person how to fish. Instead of like giving them stuff, I had to learn that the hard way, because maybe I came off judgmental or I always wanted to help people. And I'm like, you know what? I had to learn how to get to this point, because that was part of my journey, and me helping them is actually taking them away from their journey. Probably didn't think about that. For them to grow and to be where they need to be, they actually have to do it. They have to go through it. And when we rush in and want to help them, we actually are doing them a disservice. It is an ego, because we want so badly to help. And it may be the right type of ego. You want to do it for the right reasons, but their growth is stagnant now because you ran and gave them the answer. There's Google. What the hell? Figure it out on your own. But anyway, come to me once, like I wanna help you as an empath, because you always want to help people. People start taking advantage of you. Then they're like, oh, well, she knows how to do it. She can do it quicker. Let me go to her. And then they will always come to you before they even attempt to get the answer or figure things out on their own. So don't be a sucker for that. That's where the boundaries definitely come in. You're a natural healer. Or a helper, natural healer or helper. You might be involved in the healing or holistic health or wellness, or you might be a hairdresser. You might be, whether it's a professional or you do it as a volunteer or whatever, you just seem to be naturally helping people all the time. Empaths should definitely be grounding themselves. We're actually at the last one. Do you get goosebumps or body tingles when hearing certain sounds or looking at certain images? I do. I know that sounds weird, and if you don't get it, don't worry about it. It doesn't mean you're not an empath. Do you get tingles around the crown, the top of your head? It could be because you're sensing energy of a place or spirit, because you not only can sense the energy around you and the people around you, you can also sense when something else comes into that energy, which is why you might feel tingles around your head or get goosebumps out of like no apparent reason or anything like that. Or even if somebody told you a story, like, ooh, and you just get these goosebumps because like you are sensing everything. But yes, empaths are natural healers, and healing modalities is a form of mediumship. It's not coming from you. You're channeling healing energy from spirit. That's what mediumship is. You are channeling information from spirit, which is also a form of healing, because you're helping to heal grief. You feel these tingles when you hear good music. You feel the tingles when you hear someone singing the hell out of a song. I was stopped watching some reel on Instagram when this girl was killing it, okay? And I was like, woo, goosebumps, go ahead, girl. But think about this real quick. Think about it. What are ways to higher and raise your vibration? Listening to music. So when you raise your vibration, what are you naturally doing? You're becoming closer to the spirit world. Okay. So that makes sense, right? You're raising your vibration when you're hearing these things that bring so much joy. And if you've ever heard, people when they go to church and they all of a sudden, like the word or something just hits them and they get like, tears running or something, the Holy Ghost, they got the Holy Ghost, right? So what is that telling you? That it's bringing you closer to spirit. So as an empath, these little things, something that may seem so minor as listening to a song or hearing someone sing or hearing someone say something that really resonates with you, is bringing you to this higher vibration, which is bringing you closer to spirit. So you're having that spirit interaction. know a lot of people say that they wish they weren't an empath and that they hate being an empath and they wish that they can give this ability. I think once you figure out how to use it, it's one of the best abilities, I personally feel.